Hello students, welcome to my channel Learning History Made Easy. In today's video, we will be seeing the chapter 2 of Economics, that is Theory of Consumer Behavior. Before going into the video, if anyone is seeing the channel for the first time or if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share it with your friends, and also click the bell button to receive notifications whenever I upload new video. So without wasting time, let us get into the video. So as I have told, the chapter's name is Theory of Consumer Behavior. A consumer decides how to spend their income or on different goods and services. So what does a consumer decide? Consumer decide how to spend their income. Every individual will need different goods and different services. So they will have an amount of money with them and they have to decide how to spend it on what items and what services. This is the problem of choice. We have already learned in last chapter, this is the problem of choice. The likes of the consumer are also called as preferences. So this choice also depends on the preference of the consumer. Now what is utility? A consumer usually decides his demand for a commodity on the basis of utility or satisfaction that he derives from it. So how does a consumer decides his demand or which commodity he wants? It is based on the utility of the commodity or the satisfaction which that commodity will give to him. So utility of a commodity is its want satisfying capacity. So the want satisfying capacity of a good or a service is called as its utility. Utility is subjective, that is, it differs from person to person. A good which gives, a thing which gives me more utility may not give you that much utility. So it is subjective, it depends on individuals. Different individuals can get different levels of utility from the same commodity. So if I tell you an example, you will understand. For example, a person who likes chocolates will get more utility or higher utility from chocolate. But if there is a person who does not like chocolate or sweets, with the same chocolate he will get a lower level of utility or satisfaction. So a person who likes it will get higher level of satisfaction, then someone who is not liking chocolates will get lower level of satisfaction. So utility is subjective, it changes from individual to individual. Utility that one individual gets from the commodity can change with the change in place and time. Okay, for example, if you have a room heater, the room heater will be more useful if the person is staying in a very cold place like Ladakh. For example, if they are staying in a place like Chennai where the climate is hot, in summer the utility will be less. So utility depends on whether the individual is in Ladakh or in Chennai, or whether it is summer or winter. So utility changes from place to place, time to time, depending on weather, depending on individual, utility keeps on changing. So that is about utility. So it is the want satisfying capacity, it is subjective and it differs from individual to individual. Now what is cardinal utility analysis? It assumes that level of utility can be expressed in numbers. So utility is the want satisfying capacity. Okay, it is a satisfaction which we get. But can we measure it in numbers? It is not possible. But what is cardinal utility? It is an assumption. It is an assumption that the utility level can be expressed in numbers. They are assuming that utility level can be expressed in numbers. Example, we can measure the utility derived from a shirt and say that it gives me 50 units of utility. For example, I got a new shirt. The amount of utility which I get, it is assumed that it can be measured in number. For example, I get 50 units of utility from my new shirt. So that is cardinal utility analysis. It is an assumption that the level of utility can be expressed in numbers. Now how to measure utility? Measures of utility. First one is total utility. So what is total utility? Total utility of a fixed quantity of commodity is a total satisfaction derived from consuming the given amount of some commodity X. Okay, so there is a given amount of, that is quantity. If the quantity is of a commodity X, given amount is maybe N. Okay, commodity is X. Commodity is X. So by consuming N quantity of commodity X, how much utility you are getting, that is called as the total utility or TU. More of commodity X, more satisfaction to the consumer. For example, you think if commodity X are bananas. Okay, so when you are very hungry, the first banana will give you an amount of satisfaction, maybe 10 units of satisfaction. When you have the second banana, the utility you will feel even more, it has 15 units of satisfaction. So like that, more the commodity X provides more satisfaction to the consumer. The total utility depends on the quantity of commodity consumed. Total utility depends on how much of the commodity you have consumed. Therefore, TUN refers to the total utility derived from consuming N quantity of commodity X. So as I told you, N quantity, that is number of bananas of commodity X. So X is banana, N is the number, and TUN is the total satisfaction which you derive from consuming N quantity of X commodity, that is this many number of bananas. So that is total utility. Okay, now what is marginal utility? So let us see what is marginal utility. It is the change in total utility due to the consumption of one additional unit of commodity. So it is the change in total utility. Suppose I had 4 bananas which gave 28 units of total utility. Okay. Now again I am eating one more banana. So when I eat the 5th banana, I get 30 units of total utility, 30 units of satisfaction. So what is marginal utility? Marginal utility is the difference between this and this. That is, consumption of the 5th banana has caused total utility to increase by 2 units. That is 30 minus 28, that is 2 units. So here it is 30 minus 28, 2 units. Therefore, the marginal utility of the 5th banana is 2 units. So what is marginal utility? It is a change in total utility due to the consumption of one additional unit of the commodity. That is, if you first eat 4 banana and it gives you 28 units of total utility, when you eat the 5th one, it increases to 30. That means the marginal utility is the difference between both. How much more satisfaction or utility you had by having the additional banana. So that is 30 minus 28, 2 units. You can write like this: marginal utility of having the 5th banana is equal to total utility which you had by eating 5th banana minus total utility which you had by eating 4th banana. That is, total utility of having 5th banana is 30 units minus total utility of having 4th is 28. So that is 2 units. Okay, so easily you can say that marginal utility of N quantity is total utility of N minus 1. Total utility of N minus total utility of N minus 1. That is, N is here 5 and N minus 1, 5 minus 1 is 4. So that is how you calculate marginal utility. N is the unit of commodities, how many units you had. Okay, so total utility and marginal utility can be related in the following way. Total utility of N quantity is equal to marginal utility of 1 plus 2 plus N minus 1 plus till it reaches N. That is, total utility from consuming N units of banana is the sum total of the marginal utility from the first banana, then second banana, until the marginal utility of the last, that is nth banana. So that is how you calculate total utility, that is a relation between total utility and marginal utility. Now if you see this table, I will explain the table and the diagram. So here the first column shows the units, okay, second utility, the total utility, and third is marginal utility. We will see the case of bananas only. So when I have the first banana, my total utility is 12 and marginal utility also is 12. When the second banana is consumed, total utility increases 18, and what is marginal utility? Here we know 18 minus 12, that is 6. We have studied that total utility of n and total utility of n minus 1, 18 minus 12, 6. Again the third banana is consumed, so total utility is next 22 and marginal utility is 4. How? It is 22 minus 18, okay, that is 4. Here when fourth banana is consumed, total utility is 24 and marginal utility is 2, that is 24 minus 22, this minus this. Now when the fifth banana is consuming, you have to see that the total utility is not changing, it is remaining stagnant. See, when we see in practically, so when I am very hungry and I am having the first banana, okay, I get satisfaction. Second one, little more satisfaction. But when I am having the third one, the utility level slowly decreases. Okay, I will have the third one. But when I am having the fourth one, slowly it is like I don't want, but I am just having it. So the utility level even more decreases. By the time when I have the fifth one, it is like without wanting, that means you don't have any satisfaction, so it total utility remains the same, and that time what happens to marginal utility? It becomes 0. 24 minus 24, it becomes 0. And when I am having the sixth one, it is forcefully, so I don't have any utility, it becomes negative, so utility becomes 22, and here marginal utility becomes 22 minus 24, here it becomes minus 2. So this is how total utility and marginal utility are calculated. So here you can see on this axis you have utility, and here you have quantity of commodity. So here if you see, when the quantity of commodity here is 1, the total utility, so here when one banana is had, it is the total utility is 12, okay, so here 12. Then when the second banana is consumed, that is that time the utility increases to 18, okay. Then when the third banana is consumed, the utility increases to 22. When the fourth one is consumed, it goes to 24. When the fifth one is consumed, it remains the same, that is 24. And by the time the sixth one is consumed, it comes down to 22. So this is how the utility is happening. And if you see the quantity of commodity, the marginal utility, if you see the first banana is consumed, then the marginal utility here is 12, okay. First banana marginal utility is 12. When the second banana is consumed, the marginal utility here comes down to 6, okay. So here marginal utility comes down to 6. When third banana is consumed, the marginal utility becomes here 4. Okay, when the fourth banana is consumed, marginal utility becomes 2. When the fifth is consumed, it becomes 0, and by the time sixth is consumed, it comes down like this, that is minus 2. So this is this blue color is total utility, and here black color is marginal utility. So this is how you draw the total utility and marginal utility. So here, as I said, the total utility increases but in a diminishing rate. It increases but not as much as when you had the first unit. It increases but at a diminishing rate. The rate of change in total utility due to the change in quantity of commodity consumed is the measure of marginal utility. And here marginal utility also diminishes with increase in consumption, that is from 12 to 6, from 6 to 4, like that it keeps on diminishing. Marginal utility keeps on diminishing, and this is called as the law of diminishing marginal utility. So here if you see, the marginal utility curve is the black color one. It keeps on going down. It is diminishing. From here it is going down and finally it becomes -2. So that is called as the law of diminishing marginal utility. It states that marginal utility from consuming each additional unit of commodity declines as its consumption increases while keeping consumption of other commodities constant. So what is the law of diminishing marginal utility? It says that marginal utility from consuming each additional unit of commodity declines as its consumption increases. So consumption is increasing, marginal utility is decreasing while keeping the consumption of other commodities constant. And marginal utility becomes 0 at a level when total utility remains the same. That I have told you. Here when total utility remains the same, that is here 24 and 24, that time marginal utility becomes 0. So when total utility remains the same, marginal utility becomes 0. After that, total utility starts falling and marginal utility becomes negative. So after that, marginal utility is becoming negative and total utility also is falling. From 24 it goes down to 22 and marginal utility becomes -2. Derivation of demand curve in case of single commodity. So now let us see the demand curve. Cardinal utility analysis can be used to derive demand curve for a commodity. So what is demand curve? The quantity of a commodity that a consumer is willing to buy and as able to afford given prices of goods and income of consumer is called as demand for commodity. So what is demand for commodity? The quantity of a commodity that a consumer is willing to buy. How much of a commodity a consumer is willing to buy and he is able to afford. See, only wanting to buy is not enough. They should need the money to buy it. So how much that person is able to afford given the prices of goods and income of the consumer is called as demand of the commodity. So demand for a commodity X apart from the price of X itself depends on factors such as prices of other commodities, income of consumer, taste and preference, etc. So for example commodity X, the demand for that commodity X depends on many factors. First is price of other commodities. Again problem of choice arises. Price of other commodities, income of the consumer, how much money they are having, taste and preference of the consumer. Demand curve is a graphic presentation of various quantities of a commodity that a consumer is willing to buy at different prices of same commodity. What is demand curve? Demand curve is a graphic presentation. Graphic presentation of different quantities of same commodity that a consumer is willing to buy at different prices. Okay, same commodity, when it has lower prices, how much a consumer wants to buy, when it is having higher price, how much a consumer is wanting to buy. That is called as demand curve, while holding constant prices of other related commodities and income of consumer. So here we can see the graphic representation. See, this figure represents the hypothetical demand curve of an individual for the commodity X at its different price. So here if you see, okay, here we have the quantity and here we have the price of the commodity. Okay, so when the price of the commodity, for example, is 50, then here the quantity, here at least it will become, sorry, when the price of commodity is 40, then the quantity of commodity is here, okay, 5. So when for an item, for example, if for mangoes, for a price of 1 kilo mango is 40, then I buy 5 kilo of mangoes, okay. When the price reduces to 30, I am ready to buy almost 15 kilo of mangoes. Why? Because price is coming down. When its price is reduced to 20, then I am ready to buy almost 30 kilos. When the price is reduced to 10 rupees, I am ready to buy almost 55 kilos. So the thing is, when the price is decreasing, the quantity or the demand is increasing. I think you understood. When the price is decreasing, the demand is increasing. So here this figure represents the hypothetical demand curve of an individual for commodity X at different prices. Quantity is measured along the horizontal axis and price is on the vertical axis. As I said, here quantity and here price on the vertical axis. So we can see that the downward sloping demand curve shows that at a lower price, an individual is willing to buy more of commodity X, and at a higher price she is willing to buy less of commodity X. So here the curve is a downward sloping curve, downward sloping curve. The slope is like this, downwards, from up it is coming down. So this downward sloping curve shows that when the price of the commodity is high, then the people will want to purchase less. When the price of the commodity is low, the people wants to purchase more of the commodity. That is called as the demand curve. So therefore, there is a negative relationship between price of the commodity and the quantity, which is referred to as the law of demand. So this is called as the law of demand. That is, when price is increasing, demand is decreasing. When price is decreasing, demand is increasing. So this is the law of demand. So I hope you have understood all these concepts very clearly. In case of any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Your likes and shares will be of a great encouragement for me to make more and more videos. So I hope to see you all soon in the coming video. Thank you for watching.